So, Book 2, Glory and Death. This is the D. Louise book series. I'm Christina, K-R-S-T-I-N-A. This is where I read book, talk about books, no special effects, no theme music, none of that fancy smashy stuff going on here. And to make myself feel better, I have done reviews of this whole series already. And I was trying to figure out a way that I could do it again because I love reading this series every year. I do a reread every year. And because I've been doing books for the channel, I haven't been able to do this because I've already done it. So then I got this bright idea just to read my favorite parts of the book. So that's what we're doing. We're reading my favorite parts of the book. This is an important book in the series. It's the first book of Peabody. You gotta love Peabody. And she will have some one-liners later on. So anyways, if you could please hit the like and subscribe, I would appreciate it. I know some other channels that harp on it consistently. Do you know that you will like a Facebook page? You go through and you like all your friends' comments just to let them know you've seen it, whatever. YouTube, people rarely do the like stuff. You can go and see somebody that has 60,000 followers and between 1% and 10% will actually hit the like button. So if you could please hit the like button, I'd appreciate it. And I will put the link in the description of my full review of this book. But now it's time to read my favorite chapters. Eve is a lieutenant with the New York Police and Security Department. Her boss is Commander Whitney. There is Rourke, who she's now dating, sort of, kind of. We have Nadine First, who is a reporter with Channel 75 at this junction. We have Captain Feeney, who was her mentor, and now he's captain of EDD. We have Dr. Mira, the company shrink, who Eve consults on most all of her cases to help her get a profile of the killer. We have Rourke's major domo, Somerset. We also have the cat, Galahad. We meet Anna Whitney, Commander Whitney's wife. She plays a part in this book. And we get two new characters who will be recurring. We get Crack, the big, beautiful black guy. And we get Peabody. You gotta love Peabody. So, there's a new murder. Even in 2025, when genetic testing usually weeds out any violent hereditary traits before they can bloom, murder still happens. The first victim is found lying on a sidewalk in the rain. The second is murdered in her own apartment building. Lieutenant Eve Dallas has no problem finding connections between the two crimes. Both victims were beautiful and highly successful women. Their glamorous lives and loves were the talk of the city, and their intimate relations with men of great power and wealth provided Eve with a long list of suspects, including Rourke. Can she trust Rourke? So, she's been to the murder scene, and she's having dinner with Rourke at his house. And he says, I can help, he says. He slid forward so that he could bring their joined hands to his lips. When she smiled, he knew she was finally ready to relax. It isn't necessary for you to keep me out of anything. I can handle that myself. There's no need to feel guilty or uncomfortable for considering that I could be useful to you in your investigation, because he's technically sort of kind of not a suspect in this one. I'll let you know when I figure out how you might be. This time she only arched her eyebrows when his free hand snaked up her thigh. If you're trying to pull that off in here, you're going to need diving equipment. He levered himself over her so that the water sloshed dangerously at the lip of the edge. Oh, I think we can manage just fine on our own. Okay. Now, the other favorite thing of Eve's that you will hear and read about in every single book, multiple times in every single book. Eve woke to the fragrance of coffee, genuine rich ground from beans cultivated in Rourke's plantation in South America. The luxury of that, Eve could admit, one of the first things she'd grown accustomed to, indeed come to depend on when it came to staying at Rourke's. Her lips were curved before her eyes opened. Christ, heaven couldn't be better than this. I'm glad you think so. And this is the first time that we know. I think we've learned this in the previous book, but Rourke gets up. He needs very little sleep. He needs like 3 or 4 hours of sleep of night, and he has business dealings. He has video chats, video business meetings with companies around the world and off planet, and he usually starts his day at 5 a.m. The gray cat she named Galahad lay like a fat slug on the arm of the chair and studied Rourke's plate with bicolored eyes. He's always after the bacon. He's always after what's on the breakfast plate. Always. What time is it? She demanded, and the bedside clock murmured the answer, 0600. How long have you been up? A while. You didn't say when you wanted to be in. I've got a couple hours. A slow start as she crawled out of bed and looked groggily around for something to wear. Rourke watched her for a moment. It was always a pleasure to watch Eve in the morning when she was naked and glassy-eyed. He gestured toward the robe the bathroom droid had picked up from the floor and hung neatly over the foot of the bed. Eve groped into it, too sleepy yet to be baffled by the feel of silk against her skin. And they have breakfast together, etc. And they really haven't mentioned the droids after this, but once they get married, eventually down the line here, Eve's closet she calls them the closet fairies. Eve's wardrobe grows exponentially each book. Okay. Now she goes out on the case. She's interviewing people, and Eve goes to this club. Hey, white girl. Browsing it, Eve turned at the interruption. The man was tall as a house, and from the deepness of his complexion, a full black. He sported, as many did in this part of town, feathers in his hair. His cheek tattooed vivid green and the shape of grinning human skull. He wore an open vest and matching pants snug enough to show the bulge of his manhood. Hey, black boy, she said in the casual, insulting tone. He flashed a white, dazzling grin at her from unbelievably ugly face. You looking for action? He jerked his head towards the garish sign of the all-nude club across the street. You a little skinny, but they be hiring. Don't get many white as you, mostly mixed, he chuckled. Under her chin with his fingers the width of soy wieners. I'd be bound to put in a word for you. Now why would you do that? Out of the goodness of my heart and 5% of your tips, honey pot. A long white girl like you make plenty jiggling her stuff. I appreciate the thought, but I've got a job. Almost with regret, she shows him her badge. You got a name? They just call me Crack. That's the sound it makes when I bust heads. Crack! Get it? And their friendship starts from there. He runs a bar. Mavis Freestone, our best friend in the world. The Blue Squirrel. was one teetering step up from the 5 moons. Eve had cautious affection for it. There were times she even enjoyed the noise, the press of bodies, and the ever-changing costumes of the clientele. Most of the time, she enjoyed the stage show. The featured singer was one of the rare people Eve considered a genuine friend. The friendship might have its roots in Eve's arrest of Mavis Freestone several years earlier, but it had flowered nonetheless. Mavis might have gone straight, but she would never go ordinary. Tonight, the slim, exuberant woman was screeching out her lyrics against the scream of trumpets, the brass waved by the three-piece female band on the hollow screen backdrop, and that the quality of the single wine Eve had risked were enough to make her eyes water as she um, watches Mavis perform. I gotta sneeze. Hold on. So then we look at Mavis's outfit, and Eve wonders how she sat down. And Mavis says, slowly, carefully, and with great discomfort, "What did you think of my last number? A real crowd pleaser. I wrote it." "No way! That's great, Mavis. I'm odd. I might have a shot at recording contract, and I got a raise." "Well, here's to it," and they toast glasses. "I don't know you were coming in tonight. I'm meeting someone." "Rourke, is he coming?" "He's in Australia. I'm meeting Nadine first." "You're meeting a reporter on purpose?" "I can trust her. I can use her. If you say so." "Hey, you think maybe she'd do a piece on me?" Not for worlds would Eve have extinguished the light in Mavis's eyes. "I'll mention it." "Decent. Listen, tomorrow's my night off. Want to catch some dinner or hang someplace?" "If I can manage it, but I thought you were seeing that performance artist, the one with the pet monkey." They broke up. "He was just too static. Gotta go." Eve decided she didn't want to know what Mavis considered too static. Her communicator hummed. Eve pulled it out and punched in her code. Rourke's face filled the mini-screen. Her first reaction, unhidden, was a huge, delighted smile. "Lieutenant, I've tracked you down." "Apparently so. Is this an official channel, Rourke?" "It is. It doesn't sound like official surroundings. The Blue Squirrel?" "I'm meeting someone. How's Australia?" "Crowded. With luck, I'll be back within 36 hours. I'll find you." "I'm not hard to find," she smiled. "Obviously. Listen, to amuse them both, she tilted the unit as Mavis roared in her next set. "She's unique," Rourke said after several hours. "Give her my best." "Ah, I will. See you when you get back. Count on it. You'll think of me. Safe trip, Rourke." Well then, Nadine first moved from her position behind Eve's shoulder and slid into the booth. Wasn't that sweet? Torn between annoyance and embarrassment, Eve jammed her communicator in her pocket. "I thought you had more class than to eavesdrop." "Any reporter worth her salary eavesdrops, Lieutenant, just like a good cop." "So what does it feel like to have a man like Rourke in love with you?" "Thinking of switching from hard news to romance channel, Nadine?" "I can't believe you wanted to meet here again. The food's terrible. But the atmosphere, Nadine, the atmosphere." "Fine. It's your deal." Oh, you gotta just love it. You gotta just love it. And also I gotta give my book uh, weekly book reminder. Uh, he wanted to touch her so much his fingers ached from it. More than anything at that moment, he wished he could hate her for it. "Do you know, Eve?" She straightened, dropped her hands to her side. "It doesn't matter," she said, and turned and left him. But it did matter, he thought. At the moment, it was all that really mattered. Shaken, he shifted forward. He could curse her now. Those big whiskey-colored eyes were no longer staring into him. He could curse her for bringing him so low, he nearly ready to beg for whatever scraps of her life she was willing to share with him. And if he begged, if he settled, he would probably grow to hate her almost as much as he would hate himself. He knew how to outwit a rival, how to outmaneuver an opponent. He certainly knew how to fight for what he wanted or intended to have, but he no longer sure he could outwit, outmaneuver, or fight Eve. Uh, out Outlast. I forget what the other one is. This is the third one. On Survivor, which is starting soon. Taking the button out of his pocket, he toyed with it, studied it as though it was some intriguing puzzle to solve. He was an idiot, Rock realized. It was humiliating to admit what an incredible fool love could make of a man. He stood, slipped the button back into his pocket. He had a board meeting to complete, business to take care of. The button! The absolute button! Eve and Somerset have words. They gotta get used to each other. Let's see. Somerset was waiting for her. Lieutenant, it's 1:20 in the morning. I know what time it is. She bared her teeth when he stepped in front of her to block the staircase. Let's understand each other, pal. I hate you, you hate me. The big difference is I've got a badge. Now get the hell out of my way or I'll haul your bony ass in for obstructing an officer. Dignity coated him like silk. Do I take that to mean you're here at this hour in an official capacity, Lieutenant? Take it any way you want. Where is he? If you'll state your business, I'll be happy to determine Rourke's current whereabouts and to see if he's available to you. Out of patience, Eve jammed an elbow in his gut and skirted his wheezing form. I'll find him, he stated as she bounded up the stairs. He wasn't in bed, alone or otherwise. She wasn't entirely sure how she felt about that, or what she would have done if she found him twined around some blonde. Refusing to think about it, she turned on her heel and marched away towards his office, with Somerset hot on her heels. I intend to file a complaint. File away, she shot over her back shoulder. You have no right to intrude on private property in the middle of the night. You will not disturb Rock. He slipped a hand on the door as she reached it. I will not allow it. To Eve's surprise, he was out of breath and red-faced. His eyes were all but jittering in their sockets. It was, she decided, more emotion than she believed him capable of. This really puts your jocks in a twist, doesn't it? Before he could prevent it, she hit the mechanism and the door slid open. He made a grab for her, and Rourke, who turned from his study of the city, had the curious surprise of watching them grapple. Put a hand on me again, you tight-ass son of a bee, and I'll deck you. She lifted a fist to demonstrate. The satisfaction would be worth my bash. Somerset, Rourke said mildly. I believe she means it. Leave us alone. She's exceeded her authority. Leave us alone, Rourke says. I'll deal with this, as you wish. You gotta love it. If you wanted to keep me out, Eve snapped on her march toward the desk, you've got to do better than that flat-ass guard dog. Rourke merely folded his hands onto the desk. If I wanted to keep you out, you would no longer be cleared through the gate security. Deliberately, he flicked a glance at his watch. It's a bit of a late for official interview. I'm tired of people telling me what time it is. Well then, what can I do for you? And they talk. Nadine. While Eve settled in the dining room with Mavis, enjoying her first full evening off in weeks, Nadine first scowled over the editing of her next broadcast. I want to enhance that. Freeze on Dallas. She ordered the tech. Yeah, bring her up. She looks damn good on camera. Sitting back, she studied the 5 screens while the tech worked the paneling. Editing room 1 was quiet, but for the murmuring clash of voices from the screen. Nadine putting images together seamlessly was exciting as sex. The majority of the broadcasters left the process to their techs, but Nadine wanted her hands in there, everywhere. Okay, cue in the voiceover. Two women, talented, dedicated, innocent. Two lives brutally ended. The city reels, looks over its shoulder, and asks why. Loving families mourn, bury their dead, and ask for justice. There is one person working to answer that question, to meet the demand. Pan to Dallas. Alright. Then we have dinner with Rourke. Taking a break with Rourke wasn't quite like stopping off at the deli for a quick veggie hash salad and soy coffee. She wasn't sure how he managed it all, but the great quantities of money and big talk. They dined on succulent grilled lobster drenched in real creamy, rich butter. They sipped champagne so cold it frosted Eve's throat. A symphony of fruit was there for the sampling, exotic hybrids that sprinkled harmonized flavors over the tongue. Long before she could admit that she loved him, Eve had accepted the fact that she was addicted to the food he could summon up with a flick of the wrist. Aww. All right. Drum roll, please. Let's see, which page is it? They're reviewing crime scene stuff. Oh, oops, I missed it. Go back up a little bit. Victim's been primarily identified as Louise Kursky, editorial tech for Channel 75. The uniform pulled a log out of the pocket of her slick black raincoat. She was found at approximately 11:15 by C.J. Morris. He tossed his cookies just over there. Went inside through the door, screaming his head off. Building security verified his story, such as it is, was called in. Dispatch logged the call at 11:22. I arrived on scene at 11:27. You made good time, officer. Peabody, Lieutenant. I was on a swing of First Avenue. I verified homicide, secured the outer door, called for additional uniforms and a primary. Eve nodded toward the building. They get any of this on camera? Sir, I ordered a news team off scene when I arrived. I'd say they got plenty before we secured. Okay. With fingertips encased in clear seal, Eve did a search of the body. A few credits, a little jingling change, a pricey mini leak attached to the belt. No defense wounds, no signs of struggle or assault. I'm going in. I'm expecting Captain Feeney. Pass him through. She can go with the ME. Yes, sir. You stand, Peabody. The cop had good form, firm style. Keep those reporters in line. Eve glanced over her shoulder, ignoring the shouted questions, the glint of lenses. Give no comment, no statement. I've got nothing to say to them. Good. Keep it that way. Eve unsealed the door, passed through, resealed it. The lobby was empty. Peabody or somebody else had cleared it of all essential personnel. And then we get a little more Peabody. So they're reviewing the footage. And Peabody is there with us as they're reviewing the footage. I don't want to read the details of the case out loud, but Peabody is in the room with you. And Feeney says, Peabody's good. Slow, thorough. Yeah, she'll move up, Eve said absently. Yeah, she will. And huge spoiler alert for those of you who haven't read this series, and I will put the link in the description later on. So she's got. I think she had been dinner with. She was scheduled for dinner with Rock. I don't. I'm not sure, and I don't want to give it all away. But there's some stuff going on. She was in a fancy dress that Rock had purchased for her. Uh, She flexed her fingers, relieved that they seemed to be back in full working order. The MTs knew their stuff. I want you to marry me. Uh-huh. Well, she stopped, nearly stumbled, then gaped at him with her good eye. You want me what? I want you to marry me. He had a bruise on his jaw, blood on his coat, and a gleam in an eye, and she wondered if he'd lost his mind. We're standing here, beat to blank, walking away from a crime scene where either or both of us could have brought it, and you're asking me to marry you? He tucked his arm around her waist, nudged her forward. Perfect timing. So, what does not Peabody, what does Eve say? Join me next week for Immortal in Death. You just gotta love these books. I enjoy the heck out of them. And we gained 2 new characters, Crack and Peabody. And Peabody is going to be the best. Peabody is going to join the inner circle of Mavis and Nadine and Peabody. It's going to be the 3 of them for a little while. And then we're going to gain some more people. But Mavis and Peabody and Nadine are going to become Eve's bestest friends in the world. So if you could please hit the like and subscribe, I would really appreciate it. Oh, and I enjoy these books so much. Have a good one. And don't forget to hit the like and subscribe. Thank you.